Hello, this is Bill Huebner, and today I'd like to chat with you a little bit about prospecting and using a script. Do you really need a script? Absolutely. If you are working from a script, you don't lose your place. You can get back to your train of thought if you have to divert to go to an example or to answer a question. Using a script will allow you to formulate questions and get an answer to each one as you go along. There's nothing worse than at the end of a telephone call, a prospecting call or a cold call, where you hang up the phone and realize, oh no, I forgot to get an email address, get a telephone number, and have to call the person back. That is embarrassing. And a script will help you avoid things like that. In addition, and very importantly, it will get you back on track if you have to digress in order to answer a question, or whether there is an interruption, or whether you just move on to make a little bit of a point and have to get back to where you left off. One of the worst moments of my business career was early on. I was asked to give a presentation. It was a training session, and I knew what I was talking about. I had written it all out. I had outlined it. I had spent hours and hours going over my script. It was a script, memorizing things. Got up in front of the group and got to my first point and lost it. They just went right out of my head. I could not remember what that point was, and I was just totally flustered. What was I going to do? It was, as I said, the worst day of my business career. Having a script in front of you, having notes, you can follow along with them, digress, and come back. That's why people use slides during their presentation. Not so much for the audience in many cases, as to remind themselves of where they are during their presentation. Your script does the same thing for you. It allows you to set up what you want to talk about, follow along on it, make sure you cover every point. And one of the best things that it does is it gives you the confidence that you are going to get through everything that you need to cover all your points, get all the questions answered that you have, and move on with the prospect. Using a script when you're making telephone calls is also very important for when you are prospecting offline, when you are away from your phone. If you walk up to someone and strike up a conversation and realize that this might be a prospect, in your mind, you know the things that you normally would say when you're talking to people over the phone. Go through them. From memory, yeah, you'll miss a couple, but if you've gotten the pertinent information, you will be able to get back to that person by phone because you haven't forgotten something and have to call them back. You've spoken to them in person. You've arranged to reach out to them later. For example, you're working offline, you're out, you're about, a situation comes up where you realize that you could do a little bit of prospecting. You're in a conversation and you say to someone that you're with, gee, I look around and I see that a lot of your customers are working on their PDAs, they're texting or they're taking phone messages. If I could show you a way to reach out to them with an advertising message, one that they don't get over email, that they will skip over or delete, but because so many people take their text messages, if I could give you a way to reach out to them, would you be interested? And then carry on from the call from there. I've just recently done an article about prospecting and what would be contained in a script, and a link to that will be at the end of this video. So if you would like to get more information, just click on that link. But very briefly, what does your script contain? Well, there should be an opening. Now, everybody else who calls on the telephone is going to pick up the phone, and when the prospect answers, is going to say, "Hi, this is Bill Huebner, and how are you today?" Well, everybody under the sun is going to call, even their friends, "How are you today?" What you want to do is you want to be a little bit different. Be upbeat. Be friendly. "Hi, this is Bill Huebner. Today is a really great day. How's yours going?" You're upbeat. You're friendly. Or if it's at the beginning of the week, "Hi, a great Monday to you. This is Bill Huebner, and I hope the rest of the week continues as well as today's going." You've got their attention. You're different. You can make these things up yourself as you go along. But these are just a couple of suggestions that will show that you are somebody that they would want to continue to talk with. Now, getting onto that point, then you move into a conversation. Know that when someone else calls them as prospecting, the likelihood of that person jumping right into their sales pitch is very high. Most people who are doing prospecting think that they only have a few seconds to capture the interest of the person on the other end of the line. And if you are launching into your pitch, that's all you've got. But if you try to have a conversation, if you start a conversation with the person, that will go a long way. This is part of what your script is. Script out, write out what those questions are. Write out what you want to ask the person. Then based on what their answers are, the script will take you in whatever direction their lead is taking you. It becomes a give and a take, a back and a forth. You are speaking with them, not to them. Nobody wants to sit there and be lectured to. They are much more interested in having a conversation with you. And the person that they want to talk most about is themselves. So while you're engaging them, you're asking them questions about themselves, what they're doing, where they're going, what their interests are. Of course, it's all directed toward where you're going with your presentation to them a little bit later. But it's a conversation. You've engaged them. I'm not going to go through all the different varieties of questions and types of things that you should be going through. You can work on that based on what my other article is about. But what you really next want to do is you want to have a call to action. You want them to do something. You want them to click on a link. You want them to go to your website. You want them to go to your blog. You want them to take a tour of an opportunity. And you want them to call you back and speak with you again. And the best way to reconnect is if you call them. Then the onus is on you, and the likelihood of making a connection is much higher if you initiate the telephone call. So make sure you get the telephone number, get permission, get a time. Best thing too is to set up an appointment. They may be a little bit more reluctant to do that, but that is the type of person who will make the appointment that you really want to connect with. So back to my original question, do you really need a script? And I hope you've been convinced that the answer is absolutely yes. There are resources for you to find scripts. I have my contact information below. Please get in touch with me. I do have a script that I can share with you that is a general script that applies to many, many conditions. I use it as my go-to script for dealing with most situations. There are a number of people who have published books of scripts. I can share those links with you as well. They are commercially available, but if you need a lot of help, it may be money that's very, very well spent. Look forward to seeing you again on the inside.